Life is going to throw some curveballs our way, and there's nothing that we can do about it. We will be experiencing sorrow. We will experience anger, depression, bargaining, denial, and acceptance. Those 5 emotions that I just named, those are the cycles that we're going to go through when we mourn the loss of a loved one. They don't happen in a linear fashion, but research has showed that when we lose somebody, then we will experience this cycle. We will go through this cycle. Welcome back to another episode of Sweat Talk. My name is Chad. So today's a tough one. A very, very dear friend of mine just lost his daughter in a vehicle accident. And I can't imagine what he's going through right now. I tried reaching out to him. Of course, he can't muster up the mental strength right now to talk to really anybody. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. He's one of the most genuine and kind people that I have ever met in my entire life. He's one of the most devout friends that I've ever met in my life. He's the type of guy that'll give the shirt off his back to a perfect stranger. He would give his jacket to a homeless person and freeze himself. He's hands down the kindest person I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. But today was his daughter's birthday as I'm recording this video. It was her 18th birthday. She was supposed to be graduating last week, graduating high school. And I just wanted to put something out that we need to love the people that are in our lives. We need to stop taking the relationships that matter to us for granted, because it's easy for us to do that. It's so simple for us to do that. We think that because somebody was there today, they're going to be there tomorrow. We may not tell somebody that we love them enough. Some people don't tell people that they love them at all. Dudes, sometimes they think it's too masculine to hug, and personally, I'm a hugger. I think it's awkward to shake hands. But we know that life can change in an instant. We know that our life can be taken in an instant, and it can be taken at no fault of our own. We could do everything right. We could eat healthy. We could exercise. We could be a good person. We could do everything in life right. And then at the blink of an eye, it's all gone. And we're not supposed to lose our children. We're not supposed to lose our children. That's not supposed to be how life goes. It's supposed to have some sort of a cycle. We have our children, we raise our children, we enjoy our life, we become empty nesters, we enjoy the company of our children when they come back around. We get old, our children take care of us, and then we die. That's supposed to be the cycle of life. I still have my baby in my life. My daughter, she turned 18. She graduated 2 weeks ago. Graduated high school 2 weeks ago. And as a present, we sent her up to New York to go to the Vogue summer school, which turned out to be an absolute nightmare for her. Living in piss poor conditions. The dorms that she was living in were covered in mold, filled with mold, I should say. And we ended up pulling her out early, and we brought her home. Ironically, the same day that I found out that my friend's daughter had passed away. Hello. And for me, this has become a reminder that I need to pay closer attention to the relationships in my life that matter. I need to pay closer attention to the people in my life that matter. And I hope that each and every one of you do the same. Because I firmly believe that we are here to build bonds. I firmly believe that we are here to share life with other people. We're here to experience something. We're here to build something that's bigger than us. We're here to do more. And each time something difficult happens, it's teaching us something, whether we like it or not. There's a lesson to be learned from every single trial and tribulation that we're going to face. Just because we're doing everything right doesn't mean that they're not going to stop coming, or that they're going to stop coming. Because life is fucking rough, man. Life is rough, and if we don't prepare for it, it'll get the best of us. There's going to be things in your life that you can't prepare for. There's going to be unexpected situations that it is impossible to prepare for. We're not supposed to lose our siblings. We're not supposed to lose our children. And when things like that happen, then it makes us question our faith. It'll make you question your belief, because it just doesn't make sense why they've been taken from you. When the anger sets in and you can't believe that something happened or that somebody took them from you, or the denial that happens and you believe that you're going to be able to see them one more time, you're going to be able to hug them one more time. The bargaining, you pray to God and you wish that they would come back. You wish that God could bring them back. Then the depression, you're You're finally beginning to realize that they're not going to come back. And you weren't able to give them a hug one more time. You weren't able to say I love you one more time. And what's even crazier is how our mind will lie to us, you know, that these symptoms or this cycle, it can go on for years and years and years. Sometimes it may not ever go away. You know, I lost my sister almost 10 years ago. And just the other day, I was actually talking to my wife, and something in my mind was telling me that I needed to call my sister or that I needed to talk to her, and I was going to. And like I said, that was almost 10 years ago that she passed away. She too was a beautiful soul. She was a beautiful person. And when she died, it was sudden as well. And that might be why that still pops up sometimes 10 years later. Because that acceptance, you know, I thought it set in. I thought I accepted it a long time ago. I can't say that I actually got over it, because I don't know that you'll ever get over a loss like that. The only thing I know is that it does get easier to deal with. It does get a bit easier to cope with, but you'll never actually get over it. Like I said, these 5 cycles, they don't happen in a linear fashion. You know, sometimes I do still experience a little bit of depression when I think about my sister being gone. And I couldn't imagine losing my baby. And, you know, like I said, my friend, he's one of the greatest people anybody would ever have the pleasure of knowing. He's one of the few people that I've ever met that I say truly has a genuine heart of gold. I've got some seriously good memories with the guy, life-changing memories. He took care of me in a time of need. He was always there with a big-ass smile on his face, with his Italian accent. And we'd talk shit back and forth. We'd throw shade at each other. And not only could he dish it out, but he could take it like nobody else. Just a genuine smile on the guy. This wonderful heart, wonderful personality. And you know, like I don't see this as my loss. I see this as the world's loss. You know, Kennedy, she volunteered with an organization called Free Hugs. She mentored the younger kids around her. She was a part of 4-H. She showed livestock. She had horses that she was proud of. And sadly, the last time I saw her, she was 8 years old, probably 8 years old-ish. And you know, sadly, that's the last time that I've seen my friend too. And that's why that's why I say, you know, we need to pay closer attention to the relationships in our lives, because especially with him, like, I guess I haven't done a very good job. You know, because now, like, all I can say is I wish I would have gotten to know Kennedy better. I wish I would have been around more. You know, like these shoulds, or I should have. I wish I would have. You know, like that's all I got. There's no going back, right? There's nothing you can do about it. You know, like I can tell my friend I'm so sorry for your loss, and we can say that over and over and over, and you know, hundreds of people or thousands of people, you know, they'll say things like that, right? They'll say I'm sorry for your loss, but the thing is when you say sorry for your loss, like that eventually becomes white noise. And you know, there's time that when you're in a situation like this, that you want to be by yourself or with your spouse or whatever. You know, you don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to experience anything. You feel the need to stay in that depression. You feel the need to feel and experience that anger. It's terrible. You don't know what emotions you're going to experience. You don't know how you're going to feel. You don't know how you want to feel. You know, you want the nightmare to be over, but unfortunately, you can't wake up from this one. You can't wake up from something that is so traumatic. I don't know of any good way to prepare for something like this. I don't know of any tips to give out. I don't have any advice or recommendations on how to deal with something of this magnitude. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. The only thing I can say is don't take those relationships that matter in your life for granted. You know, I'm certain that he didn't. He was an amazing father. Like I said, he's an amazing person. He loved his daughter. He loves his children. He loves his wife. In fact, I think they're the only couple I know that's been married longer than my wife and I. And I love to see that, because, you know, that relationships and marriages, they don't last anymore. It's because we don't put priorities on our relationships. It's because the relationship or the marriage that we're in is not the priority. At some point, for some stupid fucking reason, you know, our finances become more important. We let stuff stand in the way of our happiness and we let it stand in the way of our marriage. People chase the almighty dollar instead of chasing the dream relationship and building a powerful relationship together. You know, I mean, there are things that we can prepare for, stressful situations, getting into that fight, preparing for that fight. You know, the fight, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a physical combat, right? It could be a fight for anything, but something of this magnitude, you know, what do you do? What do you got, you know? I wish I could just call my buddy and give him some sort of advice. I wish I could offer him some sort of reprieve from the pain and the sorrow that he's in right now. Him and his wife. You know, I wish that I could offer more. You know, I would jump on the next airplane to New York if I could right now. If he wanted me to, because I can. You know, I'm getting ready to leave for Indiana here tomorrow, actually, so that I can go see my father-in-law. You know, and I want to be with my father-in-law so that I can tell him that I love him, and so that I can appreciate that relationship. You know, he's been just about the only real father I've ever had, and he's an amazing man. Anyway, if you made it this far, do me a favor and go in the comments and write the name Kennedy Columbus, just that one name, Kennedy Columbus. You know, the world lost an incredible person, and I think that saying her name over and over is appropriate, because she was an extremely valuable soul that was sent to the earth by God, and we just lost another good one. We lost an amazing one. And with that, Roger, I love you, brother, and know that you and your family are in my prayers, and I appreciate everything that you've ever done for me. I wholeheartedly appreciate you, and I want to thank you for being in my life. That's all I got for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for showing up. I hope you're showing up for yourselves, and I hope that each and every one of you has a wonderful day. Peace.